I'm so surprised it is this warm January. Like, I just got out of the shower and it's like not frozen. It's pretty cool. Forgot how low on fuel I was. It's pretty low on fuel, so I gotta go to the gas station like pretty ASAP. But I don't have an ice scraper, so I gotta let it warm up. So I'm kind of in a conundrum right now. Today, I'm gonna go to the shop and finish the tube rear. I'm also gonna go get gas and get gas, I guess. And try to warm up a little bit. It's 24 degrees out. Yesterday was like 37. It's also like 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday. So yeah, just gonna let it warm up a little bit. Head to go get fuel and try to thaw this windshield out, and hopefully it won't run out of fuel before I get there. Made it to the gas station on very low. I'm gonna go put some diesel in and then head to the shop. Cool. Made it to the shop. Let's get to work. I underestimated. It's kind of cold outside. Let's just run through what we're gonna do today. Let's get it. Come on, let's go. So as I mentioned when we were doing the firewall, we cut everything off. We're gonna redo it. Everything. I have these plates that I made. So right here. Right there, and then another plate goes right there on each side. Now the theory behind this, so if you look, there's a hole right here underneath, and it's actually connected all the way through to here. The theory behind this plate is no matter what we do, if we box it in, there's still going to be debris and dirt and all that crap getting in there. So why not cut a hole so we can at least pressure wash it, vacuum it, do all that stuff? Because it's gonna get debris regardless unless we boxed everything off here, and that's just way too much work for no reward. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna do today. I actually picked up a can of Steal It. I've never used it before. I know it's all over YouTube and never really used it, never really had the want to use it, but we're gonna try that on this. Basically, I gotta come in here with like a wire wheel or something and clean all of this up. This wheel well actually had a fire forever ago. That over fender, that's the fender that was on fire. It definitely burnt some paint up in there and whatnot, so I'm just gonna go in and clean everything up. Now, since I'm welding everything, I'm gonna steel it. Now, I'm gonna steel it this bare metal on both sides. That way, when we actually do weld it, it will hopefully not rust. All right, this side's done for the most part. I couldn't really get the wire wheel way in there, but luckily enough, from the fire, like it didn't actually burn through the paint. So I don't think we're gonna have any worries about rust. So I'm just gonna acetone it, clean it up, and then get it ready for paint. So this is pretty much what the plate is gonna look like. I have this marked because it's the center line of where our taillight bolts are. And I'm actually gonna weld 2 studs pretty much, or bolts, in here. It'll allow us to mount the taillight bracket and be able to pull it apart. This is pretty much how the side looks. That side still needs to be finished, and watch this. Actually, plot twist, I forgot these spot welds kind of broke away and it started to rust down there because it started to lift up. So I just grinded all the rust down. It was just surface rust for now, so I'm actually gonna spray a paint of Steal It on that before I bend it down. I am keeping this bracket and like the top bracket. The way I figured, it's just more added structure for the strut tower. And we don't really have a lot of strut tower going here. Like, there used to be a huge square piece, now it's just a bar. It is a little sketchy for the strut towers in theory. Nobody really has issues with them, but these cars are actually spring bucket design. If you own a Z, you know what that is. It's basically the shock and the spring is separated from each other. So on these, we always do true coilovers, but it puts added stress into the actual shock tower. So I just figured leave those brackets and it's a little bit added strength for it. All right, I just put a can of Steelite on, just like a quick coat. I'm gonna let that dry before I pound that back down and give it a little tack weld and get it going. So originally I was actually thinking about doing a 4-inch plate for the taillight mount. Or actually, I think I'm gonna go back to a 3-inch, so be about there, give or take. Have a template laid out. Ignore that one because that's the 4-inch setup. But I have these bad boys. So basically I'm gonna drill a hole and weld it in there. Set up so you can actually, so it'll weld about right like that. It's like a rib nut, weld on rib nut. I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna drill one of these, and then that way at least I have the line, and then I can laser line all the way across. And that should be good so everything is level. I'm gonna get this drilled out. Done. I just did a pilot hole, that way we can at least have the laser line run across. Yeah, that should turn out pretty good, and then I'll just drill everything else throughout. Cool. I'm gonna let that dry and then get back to it. All right, paint is dry, so I just actually bent that piece down. Now I'm gonna clean it up and do some tacks on it, kind of like spot weld it again. Yeah, well, yeah. It's all welded, good to go. I'm just gonna clean it up real quick and then boom. All right, I've got the paint cleaned off. I've got it acetoned. I've also got it clamped on. That one is also clamped on. I'm going to set up my laser somewhere here, turn it on, and voila. So that hole is gonna be straight with the next hole, and the next hole, and the next hole. See how well this works. Alrighty, I got these plates. Plates are marked, so I'm just gonna, wow, this whole punch is really good. So basically what I'm gonna do here is I've got these slugs, they're gonna go like that, weld it, boom. Now obviously I'm gonna weld it flush, but you have a thread in there, so you basically thread bolts into that thread, push it up, and now it's flush to the metal. Yeah, there's some backhang, but you're gonna have that regardless, even if you welded a nut on the backside. So boom. All done. Not too bad of welds. They're just like tack welds. I mean, there's not a lot of like stress that goes into this part, so we should be good. Obviously, Matt is a welder. He welds full time. He could be welding this. He's got the day off, and yeah, so I figured I'd jump on it. All this stuff, it's gonna hold up. There's not a lot of stress, and I've welded a lot of stuff on the car as well that's been wrecked, and the welds held up. So I'm gonna let that cool off, prep this, the bare metal for the Steelite. How about that? All right, everything is taped off on both sides. I'm just gonna grab this can of Steelite and paint it. All right, it's all painted. You can even see our line on like pulling the tape mark off. It's still drying, but I wanted to pull it while it was wet so it didn't like zigzag the tape line. Yeah, we're good. All right, the plates are dry with the paint. Obviously that side's metal. So is that part. Matt's here, he's ready to weld. Here you go. Well,
Sweet! So happy.
I'm kind of excited to see if this Steal-It actually welds pretty good. Maybe Matt will like it, maybe he'll hate it. Find out from a professional welder! We'll let you know. I believe in you.
Don't.
That's a bead right there. Matt says he's done. Let's take a look. I actually kind of like how it turned out. I really like those notches in there. And no, he didn't forget to weld that spot. We actually left it open, that way water can come out and dust can come out. What do you think?
Awesome.
How do you feel about the Steal-It? How do you feel the welding with the Steal-It went?
After you took it off, it welded pretty awesome.
So it doesn't weld great when you have it on the metal?
For like small stuff, small patches, it works. For like sealing up areas, like holes or tunnels, works pretty good.
Do you think it works well, like it would work well for a full chassis, or is it like, is it worth it to steal it and entire chassis?
No.
Okay, that's all we really need to know for the next car. Well, like after all the fabrication is done, like your car is done, it's just needs paint. A lot of people steal it. Is it worth it to steal it?
No.
Okay.
There's cheaper alternatives.
For like it's the same effectiveness.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You still need to like grind it off to put down a good, decent bead down.
Cool. All right, we're done.
Sweet.
We are actually curious how bad the paint burnt, the Steal-It burnt when you welded through it. Big issue when you're welding on painted parts, the paint burns and flakes away. We grabbed our Milwaukee, whatever the hell it's called, and you can see it definitely burnt through. Maybe not like burnt through to a crazy extent, but you can see the bubbling there. You can see all the bubbling on the paint. So I think that'll do it for this part of the video. We'll make another video later with the actual taillight mounts and stuff. I'm pretty excited with how that turned out. It definitely put a lot more structure back into that strut tower area after we got the firewall removed. So yeah, super hyped about it. If you have any questions, obviously comment them below. We'll try to answer to the best of the abilities. Other than that, hope you're enjoying this style of content. I really can't wait to actually start doing driving content and more of that kind of stuff. But right now, we're stuck in the shop trying to bust on the car. Till next time, bye!